Okay, so we're going to continue to have some more discussions around some of the capabilities around querying inside of Access. All right, so so far what we did in the previous um, video is we took a couple of these tables, um, joined them together, took the results and created a new table, which we call the January 2nd, 2000 results. All right, so if you want to go back, you might want to go back and take a look at that. Okay, so one of the things we actually, when we created that table, we created a lot of detail. So we have all of the detail of all of these, you know every event that happened out there. But one of the things that becomes very useful, actually one of the more useful things is, to be able to analyze this data, is to be able to summarize things, be able to pull things together. One of the exercises, one of the things as we look at this data analytics, as we take things from original sources of data and reduce them down and condense them down, what we a lot of this exercise becomes one of a reduction. How do we shrink things down, both widthwise, all right, and also in terms of the numbers of records, consolidation of records, and kind of shrinking things down. All right. So one of the things we do is we can do this through totals. So let's create a new query. So what we're gonna work with right now is this January 2, 2000 table that we had used set up before. All right, and I'm going to create a new query. I'm going to go to Query Design, January 2 results. We're going to close it. All right, we're going to take we'll take all of the data. And we'll just drop it down into here. All right, so one of the things that gets, and when we run this query, basically what we're going to get is a repeat of every record that's out there with all the details. But one of the things that we might want to take a look at doing would be to generate totals. All right, so we're summarize data. So what I'm going to do, we'll do a summary here. So if I click this, if you look right now, you'll see sort show criteria in our grid here. Is what we can select on. If I click total, all right, what we're going to see a transformation here. All right, you're going to see this total, and you're going to see, you should see two types of information in here. One is going to be what we call a group by. Actually, by default, it looks like it made everything a group by because it assumed everything was just simply text data. Though actually, in our case, what we're going to do is we're going to actually take some of the stuff out, and I want to reduce the count. So I want to actually summarize the counts. All right. So, and we can do it by visitor number, by visit number. So we can take a look at how many items we purchased on a particular visit. So I'm going to actually delete some of these things out here. There's an amount, I'll keep that. So this is a number, so we can do a whole bunch of things. So, a group by, so you use a group by code when you want to basically summarize everything to a particular, I think it's non-numeric value. So we'll say like the visit number is not really a number, it's not a counting number, it's just simply a representation of the visit number. So we can use a group by on that, which would then collapse everything, all entries of that into that under a single entry. All right. So I'm going to do a group by on that for my counts here. So my total visit amount, what I'll do is I'm going to make a sum. So what I'll do is I will sum up all of that. Transaction date should all be 2000. We'll just drop that out for now. And transaction time as well. And what I'm doing is I'm just highlighting it and I'm clicking delete. And the refund code as well. So we'll total unique count. So we want a total unique item count. We'll make that a sum. Total scan count, we'll make this a sum. We will take the item number out for now. take the item quantity, we'll make that a sum. We'll take the primary description off, and we'll take the secondary description off. All right. So if we look at how we're structuring this query now, this is just a regular select query. This is a select query. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take for all of the different visit numbers that were out there, I'm going to collapse all of those numbers. I'm going to collapse everything and organize everything by the visitor number, and basically give us the total unique count, sum of the total unique count, the total scan count, and the item quantity. All right. Now, one of the things to remember, so as we got here, we got a sum. As you see, we see a sum of. Actually, what we can do, let's go back here. We'll do an order by. This case, we'll say, and we'll make it ascending. Okay, so what we've done is, if we go out there, there's 393 records. There was 3,000 records before. So what we did is we consolidated and condensed that information to summarize things up. What we also did, though, if you look, we also shrank the table sideways. We actually took columns out. So what we have now is a list of, for each visit, the sum of what was paid, what the purchase was for that visit, the sum of the unique items, 99 unique items, the sum of the scan count, and also the sum of the quantity, item quantity. All right. So by doing this, by using a group by, now the one thing about group by is when you put a total, if you do a query and you're going to do a total on it, everything has to have a value in this total. All right. So if it's a non-numeric field, if it's a numeric field, you can do, I guess, any number of things. So we can do it. We could do an average. We can do a minimum, max. Usually, you'll do a lot of times you just do a sum, but you can do all sorts of stuff. Your first, last, a whole bunch of different kinds of functions you can apply against the field. But in this case, we'll do a sum. All right, because it's a numeric field. And then anything that's a non-numeric field, we have to put a group by. So what it will do is it will collapse everything down to that single field. So what will happen is, and this is actually one of the reasons I took the description out, some of the descriptions out, is that you'll end up, for a single visit, it will consolidate down to whatever the lowest, or I guess whatever the different aggregate points are. So what would happen would be, for that visit number, if I put the item number in there, it would show us a one line for each one, because each one of those, each item that was purchased would have been purchased one time, different quantities, but one time within each visit. All right, so it's kind of a, it takes a little bit of, it takes a little kind of noodling around to get familiar with it, but this will give you kind of a sense of, so really what we'll be doing with our analysis and the types of queries we'll be doing. One of the exercises we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking chunks of data and reducing it down, kind of aggregating it using different kinds of total summarizations and group bys, as it were, to kind of group things together, and then perhaps save that data, create another table, and kind of use it in our analysis. Okay, so that is part of the select query. This is so this is going to be selection and consolidation and summarization of data. Okay, that's it.